course, are attacking and, proving assistance, but it's not enough. This is a moment of deep and painful test for the historic and moral bond between the state of Israel and between the Druze community. The Druze in Israel have stood by the Israeli country to fight and to defend the country for decades, and especially in the past 2 years, sacrificing lives and upholding shared values and protection for the homeland. Now, as our brothers and sisters are being slaughtered across the border, we call the Israeli government to act as it proves, and we cannot remain silent. We are their voice, as I mentioned before, and just as we stand on the front lines for Israel, we expect Israel to stand up for us also.
Very good point. We have seen such incredible courage throughout, in the aftermath of October 7th from the Druze community in fighting against Hamas and all of these terrorist organizations that impact both of our peoples on the Israeli side or the Druze community in Syria as well. Thank you so much for joining us, Lorena.
Thank you for having me.
When Israel is under fire, the world watches. But we act. Since 1901, Jewish National Fund USA has stood with our homeland. The moment missiles rained down, we were there, caring for children of essential workers, turning shelters into sanctuaries, providing fire trucks and more. Israel is our family.
War days, 649 days.
To support the people of Israel for today and tomorrow, turn to the trusted name in philanthropy, Jewish National Fund USA.
Wow. Wala net, guys. Wala na tayong net.
Today and tomorrow, turn to the trusted name in philanthropy, Jewish National Fund USA.
Hello guys, thank you for coming.
Well, a shakeup at the United Nations as all 3 members of a controversial commission investigating Israel announced their resignation. The UN Commission of Inquiry on Israel has faced years of accusations of anti-Israel bias. Its chair, Navi Pillai, along with Commissioners Milun Kotari and Chris Sidoti, claimed they were stepping down due to age, health, and unsuitable workload. But the timing, coming just days after the U.S. imposed sanctions on a key UN official, seems to indicate otherwise. The U.S. sanctions targeted UN Special Rapporteur Francesca Albanese, accusing her of repeatedly promoting anti-Semitic rhetoric and legitimizing terrorism. But Albanese doubled down this week at a conference of the Hague Group, a coalition of 30 states led by Colombia and South Africa. In her remarks, she repeated claims of genocide against Israel and called for global sanctions against the Jewish state. Israeli and U.S. officials denounced the event as a political show targeting Israel while ignoring the actions of terror groups like Hamas. Well, joining us now to discuss the situation in the UN is Executive Director of UN Watch,
Hello,
Neuer. Hello, thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. What's the significance of these resignations of the Commission of Inquiry, and what will become of the Commission now?
I'm from the Philippines, and I'm working here in the UAE.
Never happened in the history of the United Nations that an entire Commission of Inquiry has resigned. As you indicated, the timing says everything. This was announced just days after the United States imposed historic sanctions against Hamas terrorism supporter Francesca Albanese, someone who's been condemned by France, Germany, Canada, and many other countries for anti-Semitism and Holocaust inversion. The Secretary of State Rubio from the United States imposed historic, bold, and vital sanctions, which sends a message that if the United Nations decides to
San Francisco,
and undermine their own founding principles of human rights and international law by naming overt supporters of terrorism, notorious anti-Semites like Francesca Albanese, the United States will be the adult in the room and will say no. And Guterres had many occasions to speak out on this
your
issue.
message is under review.
They sent him letters.
Thank you for the heart.
For over 3 years, he's been silent. And so for the UN
I'm divorced, Sanjay.
UN mechanisms, no. The United States.
Why do you ask? Are you single?
They ignored everything. This is the result. You mess around, You find out.
I'm Awing
Well,
FC
now you've
from the
done amazing
Philippines.
work really exposing the corruption of Francesca Albanese, who, as you mentioned, was just sanctioned by the U.S. Yet this Hague group, the event that took place with 30 countries, is continuing, as well as the anti-Israel bias in the international community. What else can or should be done in order to stop the activities of Francesca Albanese, who is so clearly biased against the state of Israel?
Well, let's just clarify, of course, the Hague group has nothing to do with the Hague itself. I've been to the Hague.
Hello,
and
Elsa Olsen.
members of parliament who think
I'm from the
Francesca
Philippines,
Albanese is
Elsa,
a horrible person,
but I'm
and
working
thanks
here
to
in the
UN
UAE.
Watch, the Dutch parliament
How about
in
you?
The Hague disinvited her
I'm from the
speaking
Philippines.
in
I'm
the Dutch
Filipina.
parliament.
I'm
So this
Filipino,
is a group
okay?
of radical anti-Western states. You mentioned some of them.
SK
Colombia
Mubarak,
today
you're
is
from
radical
India. Thank you.
left extremist anti-American. South Africa basically seems to be on the
No, it's
Qatari
not
or the Iranian
advertising.
payroll. You have the Cuban
I love
ICE regime,
listening to this
and other
news
countries that are
anyway.
either anti-Western or anti-Israel. So there's no way to stop those regimes from embracing
What is this?
a
So
terrorism supporter,
radita.
an enemy of America. She hates America. She says America was founded upon
Hello
genocide.
from
She's trying
Paraguay,
to
but my family
sanction
from
major
Norway
American
to
companies,
be honest.
whether it's
Ah,
Google,
thank you for
Amazon,
coming,
or
Elsa.
major
Shout out
investment
from
companies. And, I
Paraguay,
was at the United Nations
Norway.
just about
Thank you so much
2 weeks
for
ago
watching.
when she
Thank
called
you
to
for your
sanction American
time.
companies. It was only a few days later where suddenly Albanese
How could I
herself
marry
became
you?
sanctioned
How
by
old are
America.
you?
She's in a lot of pain because of that. You can see on the videos. She's suffering.
You're
Her
just
life may
kidding,
become very
SK.
difficult for
How
her
old
to
are you,
carry on
SK?
trying to attack America and Israel. Her credit cards are probably canceled. She has no access to any of the
How
U.S.
is that
banking system.
possible,
She can no
Sanjay?
longer visit Harvard,
I'm here in the
Columbia,
UAE,
Georgetown, Princeton, where she was invited last year. That's over.
and I want
So,
older
the
than
United States can
me.
shut her
I'm
down.
already
In
38
terms
now.
of the UN,
You know.
the UN needs to get the message. The UN needs to get the message, and Guterres needs to wake up.
Yeah.
We know that he thinks she's a horrible person.
I love
She indicated in a
older
video that I just
than
posted
me.
today. She was interviewed. She said Guterres has never contacted me, never, and she doesn't expect it. So he thinks she's a horrible person, but due to political
Okay,
pressure,
message me,
he's the ultimate
Soradipta.
politician. He's not
Email
speaking up.
me
So
or
we need
message
UN
me
to
after my
step up to
live
the plate, and
so that
if
I
they can't
can
fire
message you
these
back.
people, at least
My
condemn them
Instagram.
as people who obscenely violate the UN's founding principles.
I'm
Absolutely.
38,
Well, we'll be
Sanjay.
following this to see if the UN can step up a little bit. Not holding out a lot of hope for that based
You're
on their track
already
record,
married,
but nonetheless, great work
SK.
and continue doing so. Helen Moyer from
Congratulations.
UN Watch.
Thank you.
Well, turning to political news, where the future of the Netanyahu coalition is in the balance over the issue of the ultra-Orthodox draft exemptions. Shas party is today expected to announce that it will join the other ultra-Orthodox parties and quit the coalition, leaving Netanyahu with a minority government.
I'll check.
ILTV's Steve Leibowitz has the latest.
The continuation of the Netanyahu premiership is not yet in danger, but for the first time in his tenure, the prime minister
Good
may
night,
be forced to govern
Mubarak.
without a governing
Love
coalition
you.
in the Knesset. If Shas joins the two ultra-Orthodox parties, Degel HaTorah and UTJ, who left the coalition yesterday,
this is it, my
Netanyahu will have only
Instagram,
his
guys.
Likud party and those from New Hope, led by Gideon Sa'ar. The law on IDF exemptions for ultra-Orthodox religious students has now left the coalition
What could I
shattered.
show you?
The head of the Knesset Foreign Affairs and Defense Committee from Likud,
Oh,
Yuli
no.
Edelstein, stands in the center of the political crisis and continues to insist that he has red lines for the conscription bill, and they include strict sanctions for those refusing to serve. In the meantime, Prime Minister Netanyahu is pressing for a solution that will reach a deal before the end of the Knesset summer session on July 27th. Netanyahu visited troops of the IDF's new ultra-Orthodox Hashmonaim Brigade in their training
How
base
can
in
I
the Jordan
share?
Valley and called for the community to support the effort. הם
Please
באים
scan.
כחרדים, והם יוצאים כחרדים. אפשרי. הם באים... זהו רחב בציבור החרדי. ואנחנו יכולים לא שלא כלים.
Thank you,
אלא
SK.
שגיוס
Bye
כל הכוחות
bye.
בחברה כדי להביא באמת left with only 50 seats in the Knesset, far that they intend to topple the government. to trigger elections. Instead, the Knesset will likely head into its 3-month summer recess on July 27th.
Same.
with the minority
Awing
government,
FC.
giving Netanyahu time to reach an agreement on the draft issue and pull the coalition back together by
AWING
fall.
space FC. Awing
In an
FC.
unprecedented show of
Same.
support, U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee today attended Prime Minister Netanyahu's corruption trial underway in Tel Aviv. Knesset Speaker Amir Ohana accompanied Huckabee to the hearing. Before entering the hall, Huckabee stated that this is a highly sensitive matter, which
You
he
see it?
perceived as a witch hunt and something which distracts from the Prime Minister's obligations to lead the country through a time of war.
No,
the U.S.
it's
ambassador's
Awing
attendance follows
FC.
statements of
Same my
support from
YouTube
President
channel.
Trump on the matter as well. Now, before the Operation Rising Lion, a delegation of dedicated women from the Israel Bonds Women's Division traveled to Israel on a courageous and meaningful mission. In the midst of ongoing conflict, these strong female investors chose to stand with the Israeli people, demonstrating
same my
solidarity,
YouTube
resilience,
channel.
and unwavering
You understand
support.
me?
Guided by the belief that smart investors have no labels, the group witnessed firsthand the strength, innovation, and enduring spirit.
But I'm not
that define
into
Israel's
Instagram
economy and
always.
its people.
Only
Let's take a look.
YouTube. I just check. Why? I'm here in the UAE, guys.
مهمتك العثور على الشيء بالطعم الأكثر اتزانا في العالم.
Okay.
متوازن يعني بالانس عاطفيا مفيش تروما ولا متوازن يعني الغش ما بيوقع.
خلصني أكثر شيء طعما موزون.
Where are you?
This is aged and taste tested by our entire team.
بدكم الصراحة؟
Yeah, UAE is safe.
كتير امور. كتير خفيف.
تعتقد هيلاقيه؟ ربما إذا تذكر ما كان بين يديه.
اكتشف طعم ليبتون الموزون الجديد.
Where are you now, Soradita? California for a month or two. Okay, give me 2-way ticket. You're just kidding, no?
Let's take a look.
I think it's really important
No.
for women to come here. And I knew that if we organized a mission, that we would
Okay,
get women
guys,
to
I'll
come
see you later
because they
because
seem to be
I'm
afraid
going
to maybe go on their
outside
own.
for
So we
now.
wanted to give them a
I'll
community
come
to
back
come
and
with
make a
and
live again.
experience Israel post October 7th.
Before Operation Rising Lion,
Okay,
the
then
Israel
give me.
Bonds Women's Division led an incredible
Oh,
delegation
how
mission
lucky
to
to be
Israel,
there.
where investors visited key locations, got to hear firsthand from real-life female heroes,
Okay, bye-bye,
and got
guys.
to connect with the Holy Land and its people.
I am so surprised,
Thank you so much.
positively surprised, at how resilient